everybody, welcome back to another Alchemy Guide. This time we're going to be going over Markdown and how to use that within Alchemy. Now, Markdown is a markup language that allows you to use regular text in order to get things like headers, bullets, and boldface. There are a lot of things that you can use markup for, such as tables or videos, but we're going to go into all those intricacies here in just a second. So let's go ahead and get started and talk about Markdown. So I've set up this article with Markdown here, and you can see that there are tons of different things you can use Markdown for, and we'll go through each one of these. But note that anywhere on the app, not just articles that uses Markdown, will allow you to basically use all these abilities within themselves. So here you can see we've got things like headers, italicized, bold, and even different types of images, links, tables, and so on and so forth. But let's go ahead and talk about how to actually apply those different things. Now, the quick shortcut here in our article here is you can see that it has Control-Shift-E to edit. So instead of having to go back and forth, you can just hit Control-Shift-E and you will get back and forth to the edit and view mode. And you'll see that in the view mode, all the things take action. But here, when you go to the edit mode, that's really the meat and potatoes of how Markdown works. So as you can see, the header right here does kind of show you what the header will look like. And it makes it larger, it boldens it and stuff like that. And that's created by adding a hashtag in front of it or a pound symbol in front of it. Now you can get different types of headers by adding more pound symbols in front of the actual text that you're doing. So by doing like 1, you'll get an underline. 2, you'll get smaller text with a smaller underline. 3, you get a different type of header. And then 4, you get that same header, but with an underline. So you can use those different types of pound symbols to give you different types of headers. The really neat thing about those headers in articles specifically is that you can have those headers actually apply our search bar here. So basically, anytime you add a header, it is applied to our quick search. So basically, you can have a single button click to navigate around your article, which is really neat. Now, going down the line, we also have tons of stuff like italic, bold, bold italics, and strike through. Now, you can see that italics is made by placing these little stars next to them. Bold is 2, and bold italics is 3 stars. Make sure that you're sandwiching the words with them, and you'll get those things to take place. The harder one to see, though, is this little strike through. And this strike through is pretty easy to get. It's just a little difficult to see. But you can see we have the little tilde that you can use here and type something out and then add 2 more tilde on the other side and it will strike through. Now, moving on to displaying an image. If you want to display an image on Alchemy, you can do so by typing in this kind of combination, this code essentially that allows the program to search up the image that you're looking or you want to input. So the first thing is going to be the title of the image, basically anything you want to name the image. And then the second one is just simply the link to the image. And by doing that, it will create the image and place it in Alchemy. Now, if you click on it, it will open it up to a bigger view so you can view it a little bit bigger if you'd like. Now, let's say, for instance, you want that same image, but you want it smaller. Well, you can do that by just simply adding the text format equal sign, and then right here is your width pixel dimension. So that basically tells it that it wants to size it to exactly 128 pixels here. You can change it to whatever you need to kind of size it up and give you the size that you're looking for. The last one here is that you can also have an image link out to another web page. So basically giving it a clickable link within the image. It's the same thing as above where you just name it and then give the link. But then there's this extra second or third part here that you place the link within it. And then once you actually click the image itself, instead of it just opening up, it will open up a new web page. Speaking of opening up a web page, you can do this, the hyperlink thing where you basically have words that you click. And once you click, it goes out to another page. Really simple stuff. You just give what you want it to say. And then right after that, you put the link. And then by doing so, you have access to a single word or a single set of words or whatever it might be that actually leads out to another web page. Now here, this next one is a line break. And as you can see kind of on the screen, there is a little line that kind of goes across horizontally. Now, that same line can be found in header 2 and header 4. So the reason I have this spacing right here is if we go into our actual markdown here, you can see that in order to create that line, I just put 3 ticks kind of right next to each other. And by doing so, it creates that line on the edit or on the view form. But the one thing that you want to make sure you do and be careful of is not to place it right below text. By creating text and then the 3 dots, it will turn whatever the text is above it into an H2. So if I go to view it now, you'll see that it has turned it completely into an H2 line, with H2 text and the line underneath it. So in order to get that line break, just make sure that you have a little bit of space between any text above it and the actual 3 ticks. Now, the next thing here is bullet points. So you can see that we added a dash in front of some words here. And by adding that dash and then some words, if you push enter, you'll see that it automatically applies a dash underneath it. Now, that dash, once you go into view mode, turns into a bullet point. Now you can see more bullet points underneath it, and that leads me to my next point is that different symbols will give you that same result. So you can either use that tick mark or you can use a plus symbol or even the star before the word. And then by doing so, hitting that enter button will give you that same result. Now, if you want to do a number table or instead of the bullet points, you can do a numbered table. You basically do the same exact thing, but instead of a symbol, you just type in the number, then the dot, and that will create an automatic list of numbers for you. Now, whenever you go into it, the difference is that it's indented, so that way you have regular text, and then this will be indented over for you. The second thing here after that would be that we have the ability to create tables within our Markdown here. And by doing so, you get something like this where it has the title, it has a couple things like maybe your options, whatever it is, and you can make it as long as you want to. You don't have to just have 2 things. You can make it have 3 columns with as many rows as you want for different options. In order to do so, you have this setup. Basically, you have the titles that go up here. These are going to be the titles of your columns. Then you have this second row, which is the most important row because it basically tells the program that it is a table. So you need to make sure you have these tick marks here. And then, of course, you fill out your table however you wish. This would be the H1 cell. This would be the H2. This would be the H2 cell, so on and so forth down the line. And that's how many rows you're going to get out of it. So after going through the tables, we also have a code for line breaks. So sometimes whenever you are using Markdown, or sometimes whenever you're formatting on this, you'll notice that even if you push enter a few times and then try typing something, when you go into view mode, the text kind of smashes together automatically and it just kind of goes down to the next line with the text. It kind of ignores spacing. So in order to force Markdown to say, hey, we want a space here, you actually just put in this little hex code, or this, not hex code, but it's a code that you put in, and it's the ampersand, the pound symbol, 1, 0, and then a semicolon. And by doing so, it will create or force an extra line break there. This here is a callout box. So if you look here on the view sheet, you can see that this callout box stands out from the rest by placing everything here in a box, gives it a title, and then some text kind of goes into it. Really good for like giving hints or maybe extra information on subjects or whatever it might be that breaks it out of the normal text. In order to create them, it's really simple. All you need to do is put these little slanted lines here, the slanted text by the above the tab button or maybe next to your 1 button. And by placing those over there, you need to place 3 in front, 3 in the end, and then you'll have this callout box. In order to get that title, that little white part on top, you're actually going to type on that same line as the first one, and you're going to place something right here up front. This automatically kind of gets taken away, and it essentially tells the Markdown that this first part is the title of this callout box. So I just usually put null, or maybe you put title, whatever you want, and then you space and you put whatever text you want there. And this will be the title of your callout box. Any other text that goes under here will just be formatted normally. That being said, make sure that you note that anything that is within a callout box cannot actually have Markdown within itself. So basically, if I go in here and I try to use Markdown to like maybe put boldface font, or if I wanted to put a table within this, it doesn't work. It just kind of formats it like regular text. So make sure that if you use a callout box, all you need it for is just a title and some text underneath it. The next one is the quotes area. So basically, it allows you to make these little lines that allow you to kind of say, this person said this, or maybe this person said this next to this person. It kind of creates almost what you would see in like a thread, or maybe you would see somewhere online that has something like that. If you go down to where it is, basically it's pretty simple. All you need to do is type in the little caret symbol and then the text, and that will give you the line next to your text, whatever you input. And if you want to, you can stack them on top of each other to continue going down that line by adding another caret in the next one. Pretty easy. Framing words as code blocks is another easy one to do, and that basically just breaks that out into a very simple white text versus the kind of Alchemy Gold. And you can see that all you need to do in order to do that is put a single slanted tick. And that is basically the same tick we use for the callout box, but instead of putting 3, we're only putting a single one. So it'd be 1 in front and 1 on the end, and that'll give you your code block there. You can also make any color you want here on the platform You can also get different colors here on the platform if you kind of use the codes in order to do so. You can see here, you input the text that you want it to say, and then you type the equal sign, then type colon, then color, then colon, then the actual color that we want. So this one's going to be red, and then we have orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And by typing all this stuff out right here, you have changed the color of the font, essentially. So basically, you can see here on the read mode, it has turned that text here into all the different colors that we wanted it to show. Now, here's a little extra kind of stuff here. If your theme, or excuse me, if your universe is using a theme or has a theme font or an accent font, something like that, you can also refer back to that and make the font within your Markdown refer back to your font style, or maybe even your theme color. So to refer back to your font style and your theme color, it's kind of the same as up here, but instead you're going to go ahead and type _accent. And by typing _accent next to color, that's going to pull the accent font. And that will give you the font style. The font, or the next thing you'll do though is you'll type in the theme name, and that will give you the color of your theme. So for instance, if we had, let's say for instance, we were using Dragonbane. Dragonbane has this really beautiful jade color for their font, and they have really neat font styles. In order to pull that font style out, I would type in the accent here, and then I would type in the color of the actual theme color. And by doing so, that text here will now turn jade, and it will have the Dragonbane font style. Now, if we didn't want the font style, let's say, for instance, we just want to use the color jade in that text there, that text here will then just turn into the font style, or excuse me, the theme color. So right here, we took out the _accent. That means that we aren't going to be pulling the theme accent, but instead, we're going to be pulling just the color of the theme right here. So 2 really neat little extra options that come with colorization. Now you can see here on the view side that the text here didn't change colors. That's because our theme color is gold. But if you're on another universe, for instance, and it's using that theme color, it will change. The font style, however, did change, and that gives us a different font style. And this is just using the theme color. Now, the next part is like one of my favorite parts here in Alchemy, and that is that it allows us to create these buttons. And these embedded buttons allow us to kind of traverse Alchemy in different ways by clicking them. And when I click them, it will take me to the different aspects that I have linked to. So if I've created a handout, or maybe I've created an item or something like that, I can basically link back to those and view them within this article or wherever you've placed your Markdown. And in order to get that, you're going to be getting your embed code from those different aspects. So, articles, NPCs, handouts, items, scenes, and premades, you need to go get that embed code. And how do you get that embed code? Well, all you need to do is go back out to wherever you want to get the thing from. So, for instance, I want to get Steve, the NPC, and I want to make sure that we can find Steve, the NPC, really easy. If I right click here, you'll see that copy embed code is an option. Same thing for items and all those other things that I mentioned before. You can copy that embed code. By doing so, it will automatically will automatically make that code for you. And all you need to do is paste it. So all of this will be super easy to do. You just right click, copy that embed code, come back in here and paste it. And boom, all of a sudden you come back in here and you have a button that links directly back to whatever you wanted to link back to. It's really neat. You could also do that with characters, pre-made characters, and it just makes it to where you can kind of bounce around Alchemy and have a really easy time navigating through different things through embedded codes. The next thing we'll go over is the inline symbol. The inline symbol here is the Alchemy symbol that we had above, and as you can see, it was nice and big. But we have taken it and we placed it between text, meaning I have text on like the left and right of it. And in order to do that, you're going to go ahead and type in this one. So it'll say image equals, and then type is inline. And then you're going to give it the dimensions 20 by 20. All you need to do is then link back to the image and it will create that image and place it between the text. So it's really cool if you need it for symbols or anything like that and placing it in text without having to throw all your text around because an image is in the way. Our second to last thing we're going to talk about here is just embedding a YouTube video. It's really, really easy to embed a YouTube video. And as you can see here, all you need to do is type in the type YouTube and then link back to the video. What's really neat is that if you are watching a YouTube video and you say, hey, I want my players to view this video, but I don't really need the first maybe 2 minutes of the video. I want it to go exactly here. There's a really neat button whenever you go to share a video on YouTube and get the code that you need in order to place here in this. There is a little box that you can check in order to say, hey, start this video exactly at the time code that I'm at. So if you wanted to, you scroll over to the 2-minute mark, click that button, and then copy the code. Once you copy the code, all you'll need to do is paste it right here in the second half of this, markdown that we've placed here. And what it'll do is it will automatically start the video at that 2-minute mark that you've placed. Now, as you can see, I just placed another Alchemy guide here, but essentially you can place a YouTube video in whatever you want. I think it's really cool when people place YouTube videos inside of handouts. So let's say, for instance, you're playing a game and there's a really neat video online and you want people to see it as a handout. You pass it to them, essentially. Here's your video. And you can use an embedded video as a handout. Really neat. And the last thing we're going to talk about here is the footnotes. And the footnotes are really simple to make. You can see that it is basically just an up caret and a 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever you want it to be. And what it will do is create basically a link that brings you down to what is a footnote. And at the bottom, this footnote area is automatically created for you whenever you apply a footnote markdown. So what you'll see here is that this little area will be placed in front now to reference that footnote that you've created. So now this one was at the end, this one's at the beginning, and then you just kind of describe what the footnote is for. And then once you do that, it will automatically create an H2 format header for you. So that way, whenever you look at your quick search bar on the top left, footnotes will automatically be placed there. And by clicking it, you can automatically go down to your footnotes really quickly. You can also do the same thing by clicking on the number that's next to footnotes or whatever the footnote is, and it'll take you back down, scroll back down to that footnote. So really quick, really easy, and different ways that you can affect the formatting of your text here in Alchemy. So you can make things that normally would just kind of be a regular text block into these really immaculate and really pretty and really cool and interactive documents that you can use within the platform. So just because maybe you're sending something to the journal doesn't mean that it has to be flat text. It could be images, it could be links, it could be videos. So, anyways, that's how you kind of use Markdown within Alchemy. If you have any questions, do please let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you all so much. Bye bye.